How you doing, everyone? I thought it would be best to give you a little video to give you a ministry update instead of typing a bunch of things out for you that you would have to read. Hopefully, we'll keep this relatively brief and give you the most pertinent information you need to kind of be up to date on what's happening. We have plenty of things to be thankful for. We've been blessed over the past year. When I first came to St. John, our average weekly attendance was 63. We've grown in how many people we are seeing on a given weekend. We also have been growing in membership, as you can see. 213 of souls in 2020 has now grown to 221 souls that we serve. We're also being blessed by who is serving us, and you're a part of a serving as well if you're watching this video. But you went from one pastor to a pastor and a quarter, and also a staff minister who is serving you both at Hope and a little bit at St. John's too, with some of the kids ministry that we do. Just wonderful things that God has provided. Also, he's been causing us to be more generous with work, and he's also raising up partners around us to be generous with that work as well. So you see our gifts have been growing over the last number of years to be able to do ministry with. All amazing things. Here is some interesting stuff that's happening right now at Hope. If you don't go to Hope on a weekly basis, there's a whole nother 20-some people who gather there on a weekly basis to enjoy God's promises and to share His love with one another. We also have a great program. Every other Monday, Julia Boggs hosts something called Joyful Noise, which is a kind of a kids program for music that brings parents or kids chaperones with them, grandparents or others, to come and participate in this little kids program. So we're seeing about 20 individuals every time we host this, and that's twice a month at the Deerfield Coffee House. And we invite those folks to come to check us out on a Sunday morning, and it's been great to be able to meet more of the community through this program called Joyful Noise. Here is some of the challenges, though, that we're facing. Being at the funeral home, and we've been there since June of 2022 now, we seem to have capped the level of people that we are seeing. That 20 to 30 number seems to be the cap that we're reaching, because we're getting the input from people in the community that they're not really interested to come to the funeral home. They might have been there for a funeral, and so that location offers some emotional baggage for them to deal with. We invite people from Joyful Noise to come check us out at the funeral home, and I don't sense a lot of moms with toddlers are excited about bringing their kid to the funeral home. So one of the priorities we have for the beginning of 2025, and this is the recommendation of the district mission board and also our mission counselor and a bunch of other pastors that I've spoken to who do mission work, is it's time to move on from the funeral home. That's causing probably a limit to how many people we serve. And in missions, we want to take those limitations away. We want to take away objections and limitations so that people feel welcome, and there is a very easy transition to try to come into worship without jumping through a bunch of hoops or over a bunch of hurdles. So that's going to be priority number one for us here in 2025 as an action item. Some of the other challenges we're facing right now is, many of you are aware that I've been spending much of my time over the last number of weeks putting a packet together for WELL's home missions. We submit that packet to our area district mission board, who reviews it and then takes those packets on to home missions to say, here's a mission in our area that we believe is worthy of time, attention, and support. Typically, in a given year, each district mission board takes one or two submissions to home missions to say this is a mission worth supporting. Our district mission board, the Western Wisconsin District Mission Board, has reviewed our packet and talked to us about a variety of different things. And they have a couple of concerns that have arisen, basically not of anyone's doing. It's just a timing issue. God in his own timing is taking care of things in his way. And some of those issues that the district mission board would love to have more clarity about are just things that are not clear yet, just due to timing issues. So one of those issues would be, hey, right now you're in the funeral home. How will the community respond to you going to a different location? Will that be something they embrace pretty quickly? Will that mean you have plenty of more people to serve, and so you're going to need some more help in serving them? That's a contingency they would like to have a little bit more solid information about. Right now, Hope is very blessed by being able to fund its ministry with our own internal offerings or some outside gifts. Typically, when a mission comes to ask for subsidy or support, there is some glaring financial need that they need help with. We don't have that need currently, but we will probably have that need within 2 to 5 years. So part of their wrestling with our request is, how do we help you now when it seems like really you're going to need that help coming down the road? What will that manpower look like? A lot of times subsidy deals with another pastor or some other people on the ministry team to help you do ministry. What is that going to look like in 3 years? That's not clear to us specifically right now. For some of you, this might be new information, but recently a donor has come forward who represents a development that's taken place in Deerfield, and they and the family of the people who kind of oversee that development have promised the Hope Mission. We initially said 5 acres of land would be great. They came back and said, we have 10 acres of land that we'd like to set aside for the Hope Mission for its future ministry. We can talk about details and locations in the future, but the one detail that we don't have is this will not be a free gift to us, but it will cost us an amount of dollars. The family has promised us that would be a very discounted rate of what it truly would cost, but we don't have a final dollar figure in mind yet. So there again, District Mission Board would love some clarity on, okay, you're going to need support for this land. What are we talking about as far as dollars that you need? And we're just not to that point in the donor family saying we have a specific dollar figure that we can give you today. That should be coming soon, but we don't have it in place. The final thing is there's going to be a big push in our church body for congregations to talk with their neighbors about ministry and how do we possibly merge to do a better job in doing mission work. That merging might be sharing a pastor or sharing resources or working together in some way. It's been suggested to us that since we have 2 neighbors close to us, less than 15 minutes away, one outside of Deerfield and one in Cambridge, it would be good for us to have a conversation with those neighbors to talk about what are their ministry plans for the future. Do we see any overlap or any partnership that possibly could be in place? We might have those conversations and we all agree no. We might have those conversations and we might all agree, yeah, possibly let's explore this a little bit more. But the point is we haven't had those conversations yet. And so Home Missions is encouraging us as we create a picture for the future and how we want to outreach to this area. It would be good for us to talk to our neighbors, our Wells neighbors, to get some more solid information to help us do some planning. So that's another issue that needs a little bit of clarity. So here's what Home Missions is really tasking us to do within this coming year. And I feel that God has been arranging things according to his own timing for a reason. And now, hopefully, here in 2025, some of God's timing will come together where we can talk about these issues in earnest and walk away with a little bit more information about what is our Sunday morning location doing as far as bringing us people, what are the costs involved with that future property, and how do we have conversations with our neighbors to help us have a better solid plan as we look to the future. A couple of things I've requested of the district mission board, while they have requested us to wait in submitting a subsidy package, I've requested a couple of things of them. One of the ministries that we do at Hope deals with supporting Julia Boggs and her staff ministry of music, and also her great help with outreach position. That position is based on donor support from an outside foundation that gives us a grant to be able to support her and afford that work that she's doing. I have notified the district mission board that there is no guarantee in 2026 that the foundation that supports Julia currently in 2025 will be able to, or they might have desire to support something else other than that issue. If that becomes the case, we still feel that what Julia does for us is going to be hard to replace in finding a person that can do all of those things really well. So we might need some financial support if our current donor support for that position might dry up or go away, especially in 2026 and following. The other thing is, I think the district mission board has allowed us as the Hope group to kind of do our thing because they feel like we're doing a fine job and they're not needing to be over our shoulder and help us. I don't feel that they need to be over our shoulder to oversee us, but I do think they offer resources and they have resources at their disposal with missions across the country to be able to bring us ideas, thoughts, things to explore and try in Deerfield as we still seek to connect with the community. We also have a district mission board mission counselor available to us. His name is Mark Burkholz, and he has years of experience, and he goes in and helps mission groups that are starting from scratch come in and create a plan of action and really connect with the community. I think his services would be really great for us to avail ourselves of. So I'd like to work out a further deeper partnership with our district mission board in 2025 to have some of those strategy, game planning, brainstorming sessions to try to figure out, okay, what are some things that we can continue to do to connect to Deerfield? So those are the big things I wanted to give you information about. I thought it was better to share a video than try to type all of that out for you. Bottom line, I kind of liken ministry and especially mission work to a roller coaster. Some of you have heard me say this before. It's like we're on a roller coaster where there's going to be laughing and crying, and we're going to see turns ahead, and we don't know where they're going to specifically go. God is guiding and directing this whole ride. And the cool thing about it is there's going to be some days filled with joy. There's going to be some days filled with, okay, Lord, what are you up to? And why are you making us wait? It's all according to his plan. It's all going in the right direction because God is blessing it and guiding it. But every second that we're on this ride together, God is the seat, and we're sitting in his lap, and he's hugging us through every moment of the ride. So we're in good hands. I appreciate you if you're watching this video. I appreciate your partnership in the ministry that we do together. You know that I cannot do this by myself, and I really appreciate the partners and the ministry teammates that I have in doing this work, and I thank you for all that you're doing. I'd love you to continue to pray about this, see how God guides you to say, here's some ideas or here's some thoughts about how we can go into 2025 walking ahead together in God's mission in Deerfield. He's got the timing worked out, and He will let us know as things goes along what He has in mind for us. Right now, we're just being forced to be patient and to be creative, and those are good things. So God be with us as we continue to serve Him together. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm very happy with where I serve. I'd love to not have to share these challenges with you, but I know we have somebody with us, our Savior, who has got these all figured out and will guide us and lead us into the future together. So God be with you. There's the latest. I'm always up for conversation or questions that you might have. Have a blessed day, and we'll talk more about this as the year unfolds. Take care. Blessings.